Welcome to Fashion, Faith, and Flair, and today's faith message is mind, body, and spirit, living happy, joyous, and free. We can think of ourselves as silos, but the mind, body, and spirit are all interconnected. They're not separate. We should not compartmentalize them because God has meant for us to be whole. Now, I've been good about compartmentalizing these three things, which, face it, has been disastrous. I'm just saying. When one's out of whack, it affects the other two. So I'm going to go through all three of them and give you some experience, strength, and hope to help with living happy, joyous, and free. So the mind. We are a living soul which consists of the mind, which consists of the conscience, your will, and emotions. Now, have you ever been really out of whack when it comes to your emotional state? And has that affected your life? It certainly has mine. When I think about some of the times that I worried about really the stupidest things, I could have been like a drama queen, making mountains out of molehills. And the older that I've gotten, I've realized that I just don't have the energy of my body to really stress out or sweat the small stuff. So with the mind, it can appreciate things that are bigger than ourselves. And that being said, when I think about how the mind works, the mind can talk us into things that perhaps aren't the wisest the wisest things to do. For example, I can tell myself that, Cindy, you can eat that particular food. You don't have a problem. You can have just one bite, when in reality, that's not the truth. There are foods that if I take one bite, that the allergy of the body kicks in, and then the obsession of the mind. So let me give you an example. Say I get a food, and I will tell you one of the foods that I struggle with, that I cannot bring into this house, is peanut butter. And you add some chocolate to it, and that's even better. So I could tell myself, yes, I can get a jar of peanut butter. Let me bring that home, and I'll just have a little bit on a piece of bread, whole wheat, because I don't eat white bread anymore. So have a piece of bread, and I can tell myself I can do it. I have the strength to do that, and that's a complete fabrication. My mind is lying, because if I take one bite, it'll make me want more and more and more. It's like an alcoholic taking a drink, or trying to tell themselves that, well, I can have one drink in this situation, or I can have one piece of this in this situation. It's a complete lie. So what I have to put in my mind is that I have to remember that I have issues surrounding food. So there are foods that are like rat poison to me. I can't eat them because eating one, I can't stop. Now, a lot of people don't understand that, and I get it, because you can take one bite, not think about it, put it aside, you're done. It doesn't matter. Well, that's not how my mind and my body works. And so to just say it simply, the mind, body, and spirit go hand in hand. So let me just give you an example. Say I go ahead and I get that peanut butter and I bring it home and I eat a bunch of it, right? Well, how's that going to affect my body? My body's not used to eating that type of food. Right now, I have a plan of eating that consists of a lot of vegetables. I eat beans. I do eat poultry from time to time. Matter of fact, I just bought some that I made some black and lemon chicken. But I eat a lot of fruits. I eat vegetables. I do eat some bread, which is whole wheat. And I drink water. And I will have tea, which, by the way, it has caffeine. I'll have hot tea with milk in the morning, but that's pretty much consistently what I eat. I pretty much eat a lot of variation of the same thing every day. So put peanut butter in this body, and if I start eating it, it's going to come out, I'm not going to feel good. It's going to affect my spirit, and I'm going to like feel shamed. I mean, I know myself. I can tell myself, well, there's no shame in it. Don't worry about it. But no, I'll feel like crap the next day because I'll have eaten way too much of it. So I can't bring it in the house. But the example is the mind is something that is really an important part of the three parts. Your mind will talk you into things that deep inside of you is not good. And so that's part of your conscience, your emotions. And by the way, eating out of emotions doesn't work either. Because if I'm ticked off at a person, place, or thing, or if I'm happy and I want to celebrate, food's not the thing for me to do. So my mind knows enough to say, no. Think of all the times that you said, yes, I'm just going to have one bite of this. And then I go and I have more than one bite. So that's just an example of the mind. We're wired for creativity and curiosity. That's part of our minds. I love to learn new things. If I can learn even one thing a day, it amazes me. And I learn from people. I learn from reading. I learn from all kinds of ways. And if I can be creative, doing these videos for me is a creative outlet. And when I have to take care of business, to keep my house up and do what I have to do in all parts of my life, making these videos is a creative outlet for me. And before, it used to be creating these wearable art hats, showing them in fashion shows, dressing people, giving them fashion advice. That's been a creative outlet for me. So anyway, the next one is body. Now that's a huge one. And even though I touched on the mental obsession part of my disease with food addiction, the body obviously plays a role in that as well. It's how we connect with the physical world with our five senses: touch, sight, hear, smell, taste. Now, I am a visual person, so even if I get outside and I see a beautiful view, that to me is heaven on earth. So I like to visually see things. I like to touch things. I do enjoy touch, a beautiful fabric, to touch what that feels like. Hearing, that is a huge sense that I use because I love music. Music is a huge part of my life, so I listen to it a lot. I sing to it. I dance to it. Smell and taste comes along with eating. That can enhance the experience. Now, what can happen is if it's taken to an extreme, and this is just my experience. If I am, how do I say this? If that taste and that smell is going to lead me down to a road where I'm going to eat what clearly is not something that needs to be put in this body. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I was at work and people ordered some fast food, and I had not eaten fast food. I've not eaten fast food since 2010. And when I mean fast food, I'm talking about specific hamburgers. It doesn't really matter, but I just made a conscious decision not to eat that anymore. And I haven't had no obsession to eat it or nothing to say, oh, I'd love to have some of this. But I smelled this in my boss's office, and I, for a minute there, thought, oh, I'd like to have some of that. And that was my mind saying, wait a minute. No, it was triggered through my body, through my sense of smell. But then my mind stepped in because all I had to do was think back to all the fast food garbage I used to put through this body, and the loneliness and the unhealthiness. I mean, some of you will never experience this, and thank God, just thank God that you don't. But when I had a body that I lived in that was over 300 pounds, the body doesn't move very fastly. And it's a lot to move it. I mean, it used to take me over an hour to mow my lawn because I had to take so many breaks because my body could not move that fast. Now, some people might be saying, well, you chose to live in that body. You chose to do what you did to it. And that's true. That is true. What I can tell you is being on the other side of it and being in recovery, it has made a complete difference in my life, which leads me back to eating the fast food. All I had to do was think about, all right, Cindy, remember how you used to live. You used to come home from work, on your way home, you'd get that fast food and you would eat it at 10 o'clock at night. And, it was no way to live. But I did it because I lived in an anesthetic state, but that's a whole nother. Yes. You can use food as an anesthetic. If you think you can't, you can. Trust me. So with the body, let me read this scripture. Psalms 139:14 says, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. And I love this one. It's 3 John 1:2. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all the things and be in health just as your soul prospers. So not only does our body need to be healthy, but we have to have a healthy soul, which leads me to the spirit. The spirit, it is through our spirit that we have a relationship and communion with God. At our deepest level, our spirit gives us meaning and purpose. It allows us to love one another and ourselves and God. And when your spirit is well, you can be very loving. And it starts with loving yourself, and then it's with loving others, and then it's loving God. And when you are a loving being, then that is no greater gift to God than to be that way. And when the body is sick, the spirit can be sick, or vice versa, or both. There's a religious connection in taking care of our bodies because it is a part of us. It's not the most important part. It's all three. It's the body, mind, and spirit. They go together. And when you're healthy in all three and there's a balance, that's when you can live happy, joyous, and free. When one of them is out of balance, then obviously attention goes to that area. But to have all three in balance, that's the answer. Our spiritual heart as well as our physical heart is a huge part of being healthy. And I can meet people and they may have what appears to be a diseased body, and they're doing the best they can, and you see this beautiful spirit on the inside of this person, the kindness and the lovingness that comes out of them. Now, I can tell you, for me, for many years, my spirit was very self-absorbed. It was very sick. My body was sick. I was in complete denial about how bad it got. And literally, it's 10 years ago this month that I ended up in a doctor's office. And I started my journey back to getting well, to getting not only physically well, but spiritually well. And I have to tell you that today, life is so much better because there's a calmness in my spirit. There's curiosity in my mind, and my body is a lot healthier than it has been in so many years. And I enjoy moving this body. I enjoy dancing. I enjoy just being able to move and to walk, and just the simple things that we take for granted. I don't know about y'all, but there were so many years that I took my health for granted. I remember my dad saying in his 60s, he goes, if you don't have your health, what do you have? Well, if you don't have your health, or if you don't have a relationship with God, or you don't have peace in your spirit or your mind, what do you have? So what I offer today is for you just to think about the three things: the mind, body, and spirit, and how you can have a serenity and calmness and really enjoy life and thank God for every miracle and every blessing that you have, and to just pay attention that one affects the other and they all go together, and they're equally as important to take care of ourselves. So I hope this has been a blessing. If you like it, I would appreciate it if you'd like it. And if you could subscribe, I would appreciate that, because I'm still trying to hit that 100 subscribers. I'm not a great marketer. I'm not trying to market anything, but I'd like to have a custom URL. So anyway, I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll catch you next time.